In my later 20s, I weighed 270 pounds after having twins. Now, I've lost over 100 pounds and I don't want anyone else to be stuck in the same place that I was. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 of the lessons that I learned that helped me lose the weight. Starting with the first lesson, automate 1 meal a day. Ideally breakfast if you can, so that you can start your day with momentum on a good foot, but 1 meal, doesn't matter what it is, make it make sense for you. I like to go with breakfast, prioritizing protein and removing all of the excess carb breakfast foods like pancakes and croissants and waffles. Take those out. For me, those lead to me overeating on more of the same thing like muffins and cookies and whatnot later in the day because I'm like, oh, well, I know I already did it, so I might as well keep going and there's always tomorrow, right? Another thing to factor is what your morning looks like. For me, I've got enough time in the morning that I can easily make myself a high protein breakfast. Even if it's something like a bowl of Greek yogurt and a half a scoop of protein powder and some blueberries, maybe sprinkle some goat cheese on top. Easy, quick, protein, satiating, and it doesn't lead to me eating a muffin at lunch. You could do this for yourself for lunch, or maybe you make a breakfast that is something simple and easy if you don't have much time in the morning, but you have it prepped and ready to go. Maybe you prep your lunch. Maybe you have a plan for your dinners. Whatever it is, whatever's going to be the easiest for you to start with, automate that 1 meal for the day. Which brings me to the second lesson, eat protein first. It is wild how many women we have as clients that come in to the Badass Babe Squad and they're only eating like 30 grams of protein in a day. And that's probably what most of them should be eating in a meal. Or they think things like peanut butter and quinoa and nuts are good sources of protein, and they're simply not. If you tried to hit your protein goal on those items, you would be way over your calorie intake for the day in fat. So one easy tweak you can make to start making progress is to prioritize your protein, and starting with understanding what a serving of protein looks like. Lots of our clients, when they start, they'll eat like 100 grams of egg whites. 100 grams of egg whites is only 10 grams of protein. So I would like you to eat like 400 grams of egg whites and get 40 grams of protein in. Or you could have a couple of eggs, use the yolks as your fat source, and add in like 250 to 300 grams of egg whites. You can also do things like have steak for breakfast, lean meats. I like to mix in ground turkey in with my egg whites, so it's not so much volume of egg whites and it's a different texture. I admittedly don't really enjoy the texture of egg whites. And so I find ways to work around it that I can still prioritize what my body actually needs as far as nutrition and micronutrients and macronutrients. I've gone so far as to teach this to my children, and people will say,
oh, you let your kids watch you weigh food?
Or you weigh your kids' food? Yeah. Like, do you feed your dog the same amount of food every day because that's what it needs to be fit and healthy? If you took your dog to the vet and it was overweight, the vet would tell you to feed the dog less and walk it more, right? And so why is measuring how much food I need or my children need to be healthy weird? It's not. Another way I make it easy for myself and my kids to prioritize their protein intake is by having a couple protein options cooked in the fridge and ready to go. That way you don't have to overthink it. You can turn anything into tacos. Being prepared with your protein is going to help you be more successful with your weight loss. It's just as simple as that. Which brings me to the third lesson. Don't exercise because you hate your body. Exercise because you love your body. Back before I got married and before I was pregnant and all of these things, I still was overweight and trying to lose weight. I was 200 pounds and getting married, and I bought a wedding dress that was like 3 sizes too small, and it was a whole thing, and I talk about it in a different video, but I essentially was eating very minimal calories and then running on my lunch breaks instead of eating lunch. And yeah, I lost a bunch of weight, probably lost fat too, and I also hated it, and I hated myself. Yeah, nothing good came from any of that. And it's not sustainable because you don't like doing it. And you don't like yourself, and it's this like vicious cycle of some kind of self-deprecating punishment, and it's not a fun place to be. So if you make change from a place of self-love instead of self-loathing, the change might actually have a chance of lasting, but also if you find ways to move your body that you enjoy, you're actually gonna love the journey. And the biggest part of weight loss and being healthy is loving the journey, not like just desiring the destination. I had a client one time that absolutely hated taking progress pictures, and she would sit there and pick herself apart. And so I was like, hey, do you have like a full-length mirror? I wanted to desensitize her. She's like, yes. I said, okay, don't judge because it worked, but this is what I got her to do. I was like, I want you to go stand in the mirror and take off your clothes and just look at yourself and tell yourself things that you love about yourself and that you love about your body. You can't say things that you hate, and obviously some things are going to come up. But at that point, I need you to tell that Bertha in your head to be quiet and find more things that you love about yourself. And I also got her to start dancing over time in the mirror, naked. Yes, it sounds weird, but it worked. And she went from hating taking progress pictures and not making any progress to loving taking progress pictures and loving dancing in the mirror naked and like just loving her body. And if you think that that sounds weird, then maybe you should do it so that it's not weird anymore. Who are you not to? You're probably thinking in your head, who am I to do that? Well, who are you not to? Go do it. You should love your body. You should feel good dancing and looking at yourself and like proud of yourself. That's where change actually comes from. Self-love, not self-loathing. Which brings me to number 4, osteoporosis hates to see women lifting weights. Strength training isn't just for looking a certain way, like trying to get a toned look. It's actually for functionality. It's great for your health. It improves your bone density, your metabolism, because muscle on your body takes energy to exist, whereas fat is stored energy. So if you have more muscle, it's going to improve your metabolism, your longevity of life, your independence in life as an aging woman. We don't want to have to depend on someone else. Having muscle on your body and a stronger core is going to help prevent you from falling, but also if you do fall, prevent you from breaking bones when you do fall. And so if you can focus on resistance training instead of just trying to burn calories to burn fat to get skinny, focus on resistance training and more importantly, actually pushing yourself through progressive overload. Challenging yourself, like the reps where you feel like you can't do another rep, that's when you actually start counting them. Choosing a weight that is challenging for you. So if you're supposed to be doing 10 to 12 reps and you're using weight that you could do 20 to 30 reps, that's not actually challenging you. Pick up a heavier weight and push yourself. And maybe you'll only be able to do 6 reps, and that's okay. Maybe in 3 weeks from now, you'll be able to do 7. And that is progressive overload and resistance training and getting stronger. And then you don't need to do like a bunch of jumping jacks and burpees and stuff like that in between your sets. You just rest and recover so you can build your energy back up to give it all in your next set and challenge yourself. This is how you build strength, and this is how you build muscle. If you can prioritize your protein intake and then prioritize resistance training, if you're not doing anything right now, 2 days a week. If you're doing 2 days a week, 3 to 5 is great. Just a 30 to 60 minute gym session. You're gonna be well on your way to preventing osteoporosis and all of the problems it comes with as an aging woman. I feel like osteoporosis is the thing that nobody talks about, that they should talk about and be aware about. But everyone just talks about menopause and all of the struggles that come with that. Nobody talks about osteoporosis. Like when you see someone that's like walking around like this, like they're looking for a spare change on the ground or something, when really it's just their bones lack density and strength. Number 5, you cannot get a refund on the calories you ate, even if you didn't enjoy it. So fun story. Before I sat down to film this, there was some Cinnabons that somebody left on the counter. And I started eating one as we were setting up. And as I was eating it, Ronnie looked over at me and was like,
Was that good?
and I was almost done. And I laughed and I was like, yeah, no, the shame of it tastes a little bit bitter. Can I get a refund? I was like, it's not even that good. And now I feel bad that I'm eating it, but I'm still gonna keep eating it for some reason, even though I could just put it down at this point and not finish it. But I ate it all, and then I was like, could I get a refund on the calories that I just consumed? And unfortunately, even if you keep the receipt, you don't get the calories back. And shame tastes bitter. If you think about logging your food and it's something that you don't want to log or you wouldn't enter in your food log, then it's probably not something that you should be eating. It's probably not healthy for you. And it's probably not mentally healthy for you either if you're going through that shame spiral. So something to be aware of. Yeah, that's one mindset shift that you can use is, I wouldn't want someone else to see me doing this. I probably shouldn't do it. It's probably not the most healthy thing for me. And I think another thing, well, I know another thing that I used to do was not want to waste food because of like money mindset and scarcity and, you know, childhood and all of these things, and clean your plate. You don't waste food. There's starving kids in Africa, all the things. And so I would have a hard time, one, passing up free food. If I didn't pay for it, oh my God, get in me. And number two, wasting food. So if I started eating the cinnamon bun that I didn't pay for, and then I didn't finish it and I threw it out, like that's a double sin. No. And so moving out of that mindset of like, whatever it is, like you're judging yourself for if someone else is going to be upset if you threw away something that they paid for or made for you, or you just don't want to waste because you don't want to waste money or whatever. Think about what you're doing to your body, especially when it's things like a cinnamon bun that has no nutritional value, and it wasn't even enjoyable for me, really, when I look back. So something to work through for your mindset, the why behind the what. Like, why are you concerned? And then what's the worst case scenario that could happen? If I had thrown out the cinnamon bun, nobody would have cared. Wouldn't have been like, you owe me money for that cinnamon bun. And even if I did, here's $2. There you go. The why behind the what is so important when you know better, but you're not doing better. Which brings me to the 6th lesson: leave the house and not your body. This one was a big one for me. I was living a life that I was not happy in. And so I would leave my body in disassociating or avoiding through things like food and alcohol or getting high or whatever it was, or even watching TV. Like whatever your guilty pleasure is, scrolling social media, sitting on your butt and you're like eating while you're doing it, and before you know it, you ate the whole bag of chips. Oops, probably should have just put some in a bowl. Anyway, these are all ways that I call it leaving our body so that we're not having to pay attention to reality. We can disassociate, disconnect, self-abandon, whatever it is. And so when I realized I was doing all of these things and the why behind the what, why am I doing it? It's because of some emotional state. And is the way that I'm meeting my need congruent with what my goals are? Yes or no? If it's no, I probably shouldn't be doing it. And so I came up with the statement, leave my house so I don't leave my body. And so I would leave my wallet, my phone, all of the things that gave me the ability to meet my need in a way that wasn't congruent with my goals. And I would go out of the house, leave all those things behind, so I couldn't go buy ice cream or I couldn't like scroll my phone while I was walking. And I would just go for a walk and process what I was actually feeling. And over time, this built a new pathway in meeting my own needs by building my self-awareness and processing what I was feeling instead of trying to avoid it. And then once I started processing it, I could make decisions that actually were in alignment with my goals and what I wanted for myself, than just being afraid of feeling the feelings and disassociating from them in ways that were making me fat and making me unhealthy physically and mentally. We all have needs that we meet in some way, shape, or form, and we all have mental, emotional health that we probably should be working on, and we meet our needs in ways that are sometimes not productive. And so for you, if you notice a certain time of day or a certain situation or something like that where you are doing things in the moment that are not congruent with what you want long term, either to avoid or whatever it is, find an alternative for yourself and set yourself up for success. So another one for me was conflict. I don't really like conflict. I don't like confrontation. And so to ease myself from having to feel the uneasy feelings of conflict, whether it was including myself or even just like my kids arguing with each other, I'd eat a sleeve of Oreos. I noticed this about myself when I would find myself going to the pantry when the twins were fighting. And so instead of going to the pantry, I would go put my shoes on and go outside and just walk up and down the block. Because if I can process that in a different way, I'm building a healthy habit that is productive for who I want to be. And really, it's only probably like a 5-minute craving. Have you ever timed how long a craving lasts? And if you can meet the need in a different way, then you don't even need to go eat the sleeve of Oreos. Leave the house so you don't leave your body. Which brings me to the 7th lesson. You can lose any amount of weight at any age. You're not too old, it's not too late, it's not your metabolism is ruined. You can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And where you have the knowledge and the data, you can actually get the outcome that you're looking for versus basing it off of feelings and then getting mad at yourself for not making progress. If you can focus on incorporating these lessons that I just talked about, and just simple things like moving more including knowing where you're currently at and then actually knowing that you're moving more. Resistance training instead of cardio, focusing on your protein, eating in a calorie deficit, working on your mental health through self-awareness, leaving the house so you don't leave your body. Whatever you got to do, you can lose weight and get healthy. We have clients like Patty, who's 69 and she's lost almost 20 pounds. Ruth, who's in her 50s and is finally seeing the leg definition she's been looking for. Mel, she's in her early 40s and she went from 225 pounds to 163 pounds. And Rosemary, who's in her late 40s and has lost 194 pounds. It's not too late. You're not too old. Your metabolism isn't broken. You just need to focus on the things that actually matter and not look for the easy button or the quick fix. And most of all, you have to understand that you are the problem, but that's a good thing because you're also the solution. As long as you're blaming external factors that you don't have control over, well, then you can't do anything, right? But if you take responsibility for it at any age, you can make changes and move yourself towards your weight loss goals, extend your health span, your lifespan, improve your quality of life, all of these things. At any age, you can lose any amount of weight, extend your health span, improve your quality of life, your zest for life, all of those things. You just need to start now, today, in this moment. These are just 7 of the hundreds of lessons that I've learned while losing 100 pounds. And if you want to learn how to lose 15 pounds in less than 3 months, watch this video next. Or maybe it's over there. Maybe it's here, there, or down here. I don't know what to do with my hands. Why are you still here?